good morning. Welcome to Acappella, a Caring People podcast. So excited to have Barbara Glass, my friend in the senior community, an amazing leader in the community. Barbara is the president of Aware. We're going to talk about Aware today. I've also got my awesome co-host, Brian, and we're here today to talk about Aware.
Barbara, what is Aware and what is Aware's mission?
Aware is an organization that started back in 1989 that raises money and funds projects that nonprofit organizations have for benefiting the people in the community. Let me read the mission statement and then expand a little bit on it because it kind of says it all. It's dedicated to fighting Alzheimer's disease by providing funding and support to programs, projects, and research provided by nonprofit organizations that actively help all individuals affected by Alzheimer's disease in Dallas and the greater North Texas area. And what that means is that all of our activities and funding are in the North Texas area, and that I just want to say Alzheimer's represents about 60% of all the dementias, and so by focusing on that, we're helping everybody else, every family member, caregivers, whether they're in the home or in a community. We are focusing on Alzheimer's in order to help anybody that is experiencing dementia in their family.
So like the national organization, Alzheimer's Association, but local.
But local. Aware is strictly Dallas and North Texas.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there's so many seniors in need. I mean, I know personally my parents both were affected by Alzheimer's and dementia. My grandfather had dementia. So I just have such a heart for people with memory issues. And there is such a need out there. And there's so much education that we need. Just ongoing education is so important because so many people are affected. So Barbara, I know you came to the senior industry. You were in a different industry before you got involved with senior care.
Yes.
So tell me about that.
Well, my brother had been in the senior industry for years, and so through my conversations with him, I had visited a lot of senior communities, and what I did was I took my experience in marketing and I said, okay, time to make a change. And I did that 15 years ago and have never looked back. Looked back. So I take what I know about marketing and communications and try to adapt it to the nonprofit world. And I have focused on those chronic conditions that affect the elderly, the ones that they have to continue to live with, like Alzheimer's disease.
So what is Aware doing to accomplish that mission?
Well, what they are doing, they raise money and they award grants to nonprofits who have particular projects or programs that benefit the community. Let me give you an example of some of them. Baylor Scott and White, their memory center. The Bishop Arts Center has a memory program, storytelling. Casa de Vida is a day stay program. It's a respite program. The Dallas Arboretum has a marvelous memory program, and it's a way to keep people that have memory problems engaged and keep them connected. It's the people that create these programs are incredibly creative. The Dallas Museum of Art, and they go into a lot of senior communities. They have a wonderful program. Educare has the Compassion Fatigue Symposium annually for love and art. If you have not seen that done in the communities, very, very unique program. It's something to be enjoyed. Highland Park United Methodist Church has the Journey program, which is similar to Casa de Vida. Jewish Family Service. We fund the Senior Source. These are programs that help people in the community, and they're a little more generalized, but they go into the homes, and So we try to reach out to everybody. Juliet Fowler, Plano Symphony Orchestra, let's see, the Meadows Museum, Texas Health Resources, Stomping Ground Comedy. They have a terrific caregiver training program, and it's adapted.
Wow.
Would never have thought.
They've adapted it to a virtual format, and it's using improv to better communicate to people with memory disorders. It's very, very unique. So, UT Southwestern, Texas Winds, Visiting Nurses Association, Wilshire Baptist Church has a program similar to Casa de Vida. And we also are connected with the Myrna Schlegel Scholarship Fund. I wanted to mention a couple of others that we have funded. We have funded projects that the Alzheimer's Association has brought us.
Mhm.
We have funded also with the Center for Brain Health and for the Center for Vital Longevity. I mean, they're not amongst the current grantees, but we have done a lot with them in the past.
Barbara, is that list on your website?
It is on the website. It is also in the member book, the member directory that is sent only to members. And we also have a brochure that came with that. Yes, we have more of those, and it lists the list that I read earlier is the current grantee list. They will be receiving their money in the beginning of next year, but we fund every year, and we just started our new grant cycle.
Mhm.
Okay, we just
I know,
started it.
Pajamas for
That is
Seniors
also
is
on
hearing
the
that.
website www.awaredallas.org
So let me ask
for
you a
events,
question.
for grants, for anything.
So you've got somebody that wants to help, knows that there are needs, and they want to help and they want to volunteer. Is there a way that people can volunteer other than monetary donations? Is there anything they can do to help with something upcoming?
Well, we are expanding that, okay? Because we are setting up, we have some fundraisers coming up, for example, and we could use some volunteers at the poinsettia disbursement. And we have over 30 people on our grant review committee, okay? Because our grant process is not just a matter of filling in a little sheet. I mean, it's pretty exhaustive, and we require site visits for every single grant. I mean, it's a more exhaustive approach than any grant I've ever heard of. Okay, and so you can bet that whatever money we raise and put into this, it is well researched. And I will tell you that when COVID hit, we are also very flexible with it. Stacy Angel, who is an angel, truly, she called every single one of the current grantees and the ones that are coming up, and asked them how we could help them. And we did change. I mean, as long as the program is meeting our mission needs of addressing Alzheimer's disease, then we expanded how the money could be used, because nonprofits are suffering as much as for-profits
Right.
during the pandemic. And so we want to make sure that they can continue to deliver these services for the community, and so we allowed some of them to expand.
Well, and that's great, because I know, I have a heart for seniors, and
Mhm.
I work with a nonprofit, Pajamas for Seniors, and it has been very difficult to get grants. And there's such a need. And people just forget about our sweet seniors.
Mhm.
And it's wonderful that you do that. We've had several guests from the list of the recipients. We had the Casa de Vida, Ellen here.
Oh, Ellen Mata.
And
Yeah, she's fabulous.
she is amazing. And that
Yeah.
program, there are just so many needs for seniors. That program is amazing.
Mhm.
Wilshire, we've given pajamas to Wilshire Baptist, to their recipients.
Right.
Their not residents, I guess, their patrons.
Mhm.
And it's just been a win-win. So just working together is so important.
Absolutely.
I want to back up just a little bit. Talk about how did Aware get started?
Aware was started in 1989 by 6 extraordinary women who wanted to had a lot of the members have experienced Alzheimer's firsthand, and that's where the 6 came together with the Alzheimer's Association, which at the time in 1989 they were doing a lot of locally based services. Okay, so they raised money. They started with a luncheon, and gradually the Aware Affair has become an evening event now, and it just kind of grew and grew. And where Aware fundamentally shifted, however, is when the Alzheimer's Association changed their business model, and part of that change occurred about, I'm going to say 10 years ago, 8 to 10 years ago. 40% of the money they raise goes directly to the national organization to fund research. And don't get me wrong, we need a cure.
Right.
We need
Most
research.
definitely.
We really do. I mean, I can't emphasize that enough. But you also have a lot of people in the community who need attention. And what the Alzheimer's Association was doing was kind of redefining themselves as a research organization, and their local presence was not as great. Okay, so the women that formed Aware decided to separate, and they nestled we're now under the Dallas Foundation, and they are marvelous partners in terms of the whole grant process. They help us with the financial process. I mean, they're wonderful to work with. So that's where we are now. And what that means is that all the money that we raise goes right into the North Dallas
That's awesome.
community,
That's great.
North Texas area. And so Texas Winds, for example, for Love and Art, they're everywhere. They're all over the place. The Dallas Museum of Art is everywhere. And the research projects that we fund are mostly nascent research. It's the postdoctoral that has a great idea, and he needs to put together a group to get the data together in order to apply for the big grant. Okay, so that's most of the research we do. It goes to somebody here that's trying to get an idea off the ground
Right.
that makes sense
So
with this mission.
how can somebody become a member of Aware?
www.awaredallas.org.
So anybody
You
can
join
join?
up. Yes, it's not a interview, or no, anybody can become an Aware member. I think in essence it started as a social organization. It's still kind of social, and we're not really interested in turning it into a professional networking organization.
Right.
It's kind of, we want professionals in there because you give us the resources.
Right.
You have a lot of firsthand knowledge of how it works, and I see it as a very symbiotic relationship. But the way that we raise money is usually in a social setting. With the Aware Affair, the Poinsettia fundraiser, even Teepa Snow. I mean, we've had to adapt with COVID, of course. We've had to make things virtual, but that's in essence, it's a social organization. But that's a good thing.
Sure.
That's a good
You
thing. We like
mentioned-
to gather.
right.
We're humans.
You mentioned the women in the group, and there's a subgroup, the men's group.
Yes, there's
it a
there's
subgroup?
Aware Men, because it was found along the way after 1989. Some of the men said, "Hey, men experience caregiving differently than women do,
Right.
and we want to have some activities that speak to that." And we had a marvelous event last spring at the Center for Brain Health, where there were 3 couples that were part of Audette Rackley's group, and the husband had Alzheimer's, and so here were 3 couples, and they were talking about how they work. how it works. And that, it's a difficult subject.
Mhm.
And marriage on a good day is a challenge.
Right.
Right. Okay.
Throw-
So, but in the face of one or the other spouse having Alzheimer's disease, it changes the dynamic. It's like taking logs out of Jenga. It change. So how do you do it, and how do you enrich the relationship? How do you caregive without hovering? How do you maintain a married relationship in the face of that?
It evolves.
And it evolves.
Yeah.
Right.
Well-
So, I mean, it was a topic that was the Aware Men sponsored. And so
I
that's kind
love
of what
that.
they do. Yeah.
And I will say in home care, there's so many requests. A lot of men prefer a male caregiver.
Yeah.
Yes.
They just prefer having a guy, take care of them.
Yeah.
They're just more comfortable.
Pride.
And pride.
Sure.
And then we've also had wives who don't want another woman seeing her husband
all
Yeah.
day
in
long,
the
yeah.
shower.
Right.
So
There's
there is a
modesty
need for
and- yeah.
education for men. So is this something, have they done classes to help educate just the private paid caregiver, or is this just for the loved ones?
It's right now it is for the loved ones. Okay. It's for the caregivers. It's for the community at large. It's like a general audience. But as Aware grows, and as we have individuals who are willing to take things on, then we can talk about that. I mean, one thing I introduced this year are 4 webinars. Okay. And they're on different topics they are done by Aware members. We had a wonderful one with Joan Mason that talked about the financial. We've got another one coming up in the beginning of December, Joyce Logan, who's going to talk about
I
when
love
it's
Joyce.
time.
She's been a guest.
She has
on
been a
our
guest,
show as
yes.
well.
She's wonderful. She's been a Aware member for years. And then Lily Adrian is going to talk about life enrichment.
Yep.
In January, and the importance of it, why it matters in memory care. And then Veronica Shanklin is going to talk in March, and her title is You Got This.
Oh, nice.
Okay, and she has been caring for her mother and her grandmother for several years, both of whom have Alzheimer's. Her grandmother has since passed, but still, it's just ways to manage it and to form your network. It's things that she's learned along the way. So You Got This coming on March 4th.
So y'all have
So,
lots of
I mean,
events.
this was new this
Yeah.
year. This was new this year. And I thought, okay, this is a way that we can educate the community. And I think next year we might do it differently. I don't know. I've talked to Karis DeJulia, is the president-elect,
Yes.
and I said, what would you like to do next year? I mean, how do you want to expand on this? This was a first step, so,
There's so much. I think
but it's a way to educate.
Yeah, and I think, I was did a Zoom marketing meeting with a group in McKinney, where I'm from, yesterday, and they talked about the importance of adapting, and we just have to adapt to a new normal.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
so there is so much that we can do online. We even did breakout sessions, and that was so cool. It was
Yeah,
really,
you can do
really
that on Zoom.
great. But I know you've got, which leads me to ask you about TIPA Snow, and I know you've got
Oh.
TIPA coming up, which is so exciting. And us as healthcare professionals all know about TIPA Snow.
Yes.
But if you'll tell the listeners a little bit about that event coming up and how she is so valued and revered in the community.
Well, she is the single best known name in terms of dementia care.
Mhm.
I mean, she's real world. She's very engaging as a speaker. You're just like, you think you can't sit on the edge of your seat and be really engaged in somebody talking about memory problems,
Right.
but you do with her. I
Yeah.
mean, she is that good, and she teaches you real ways to help individuals that have some kind of memory disorder. I mean, real ways to hold their arm, how to brush their teeth, how to put notes up. I mean, just real world
Personalized
things
it,
to allow the person you're caring for to stay as independent and as engaged and as happy as possible. You know, and to keep your sanity at the same time, because I know Pam Kovacs Johnson has said, you know, all caregivers deserve red capes.
Mhm.
You know, and
Right.
that's an understatement.
Right.
She's phenomenal. She would
Mhm.
make a good guest too.
She would be a great
Yeah,
guest.
yeah. So, but Teepa is extraordinary. She did. She has not done any in-person events all year. She went strictly to virtual in March or so. So we were lucky to get her. This was the only date she was available. It is Tuesday, December 15th. It starts at, I think, 8 o'clock in the morning, and you can go to the Aware website, and it will link you right to Eventbrite, www.awaredallas.org.
And it is a Zoom event.
It is a Zoom event
Okay.
because that's the only way she's doing it. And it will be interspersed. It is being sponsored by, in large part, by senior helpers and home care assistants. I mean,
Okay.
I'm going to mention them
No,
because
that's
they
great.
they
Absolutely,
stepped up.
that's
They
great.
stepped up, and a host of others that we greatly appreciate the help. And Aware will be the beneficiary of the profits. So
Well,
we're
And you know,
pleased about
Barbara, we talked about, before the show started, how important it is in the healthcare industry in Dallas, anywhere, that we need to communicate and help each other. And
yes,
if we
yes.
forget about the competitive, I mean, we all have a business to run.
Mhm.
Brian and I have competing businesses, but we help each other. We refer to each other.
Sure.
There might be somebody that senior helpers can take care of. They have somebody more knowledgeable with a certain type of dementia than my caregivers or Brian's caregivers.
Mhm.
So it's really about providing the right care. And I love that Senior Helpers is such an advocate of TIPA Snow.
Yes.
And I've been to other events that they've hosted with TIPA. And so I'm looking forward to that. I encourage listeners to go to the Aware website. If you have any extra money to spend, this would be a good
Well,
day of education.
there's an opportunity here. It's $35 for professionals who want CEUs.
Okay, so there's
now
a CU
the
component
National
to it.
Professional Referral Association
Yeah.
is sponsoring the CEUs. There will be there's going to be a session they're going to offer in the middle of the day, but I think it's 4.5 CEUs. Okay, and then
Oh,
for
wow.
caregivers it's $10. So if you don't need the CEUs, you can go for $10.
I'm just
Wow.
I
wondering.
mean, it's not going to break.
It's not
your
going to break
wallet.
the bank.
No,
right.
that's great.
Mhm.
And even having caregivers get together and watch it in a group, I don't know
Exactly.
if that's possible, but I think they could really benefit. And our caregivers, like you say, they're the unsung heroes. They work so hard. They do the job that so many people don't want to do. We know their pay is not that great. We do our best, but it's expensive. Hourly care is expensive.
It is.
So just having something like that for them to be able to learn and give back would be amazing.
Right. And they'll learn a lot about what's available in the market as well, because there are other sponsors, and they'll talk about how they contribute to the support network that we have out there.
What are the hours of the program again?
I believe it's like 8 to 3.
Okay.
But
So
it's on the website.
Yeah.
Okay. It's right on the homepage.
Will you give your website again for the
See?
listeners?
There it is.
Yeah,
There it
that's
is.
the information on TIPA Snow, a holiday affair with TIPA Snow. This will be exciting. Let's talk about the Poinsettia Drive also.
Right. Well, we had this fabulous idea way back a year ago to build a poinsettia tree. And we were going to have this nice gathering event on December the 8th at Belmont Village, who's been a wonderful sponsor of Aware for a long time. And COVID kind of changed all of that. Well, we can't have the tree because there was no place to put it.
Right.
You know, the churches are
Right.
closed, and,
Right.
you know, so I thought, well, okay, but poinsettias are they're just part
They're
of the holidays.
Christmas.
They
They
just
yeah,
are.
yeah.
They
and
are.
and Caristy says to me, well, you know, a lot of people give them away as like
Give them as
house gifts,
Sure.
and so she said we need to have something in the beginning of December. I mean, she's like the voice in my ear when she's not in the room, and so we decided to just do it as a fundraiser, and that's right on the homepage as well, www.awaredallas.org, and you can order your poinsettias for $25 each in red, white, or pink, and we have 3 pickup options on Tuesday, December 1st from 9 to 11, or 4 to 6, or Wednesday the 2nd from 12 to 2, or we will deliver. Okay, we will make house calls if
And
people
they
are
make-
not comfortable. This will be a drive-through, and they will be wrapped in cellophane. They're 6-inch pots with red foil on them, and we will just put them in your car, and we have a gift. We have a gift to go with everybody that picks up.
And they make great holiday gifts as well. So don't just
Absolutely.
buy one.
Decorate
fill the
your
car.
house.
Yeah,
No.
fill the car.
And or if you want to give them away as a company, to say, well, you know, I've got several of these clients out here, and I had one person say this, so I, you know, and say, well, we're going to give back, and we will give these, and so
I love that. I'm
Great
buying
idea.
some poinsettias. I'm
Yeah,
very excited,
just
and
go
I am
right
going
on
to
the
be giving those as
website,
gifts this
and
year.
we set it up, and this is something that the Dallas Foundation helps us with. I mean, they provide us with that direct conduit, and it makes it easier. You don't have to write a check. You don't have to drop anything off. And you can come by, get a gift, or we will deliver.
So, Brian, speaking of events, we have an event today
We
that's
do
at
have an event
Manchester
today.
Place. So talk about that today.
We have an event today. It's your pajama drive at our Queens Ferry location. The information is
Really?
on your website.
Cool.
We're doing a drive-by pajama drive. So
it's a Pinot and pajamas.
Pinot and pajamas. We're serving wine. We'll have cheese platter, the whole thing. Our Queens Ferry location near Coit and Campbell is facing a 2-acre lake. So we're going to be outside on the lake enjoying some wine, and
I
people
have
can
not
drive
been to
by.
that location.
We'll see you this
Well,
afternoon.
today's
I
the
might
day.
have to crash
It's
the
a
party.
beautiful day for this, so I'm real excited about
Yeah,
the
and
event.
we
Yeah, that's cool.
I got a message. Somebody bought 49 pairs of women's pajamas for $3 a piece at Walmart. They were on clearance. They were summer, short sleeve, but we can certainly
We'll
use
take 'em.
those. We've got a huge storage facility. We donate year round. The Pajamas for Seniors is not just in December. And thank you, Manchester Place, so much for doing this. I'm so excited. But we should have a huge turnout. We're really
That's great.
excited. And, you know, my goal is we give to a lot of the memory units. Right now, you know, there's so much on the news with COVID. Our seniors are the ones that are suffering the most.
They are so isolated.
They are, and it's
Isolated.
and I heard this the other day on the news that they feel abandoned.
Mhm.
They feel abandoned by their families. They feel abandoned. They can't go outside of their rooms.
They don't understand. They don't
confused and
understand.
isolated. No.
They
Yeah.
don't. They don't. They can't have the activities. The church pastor that did the service on Sunday mornings isn't coming out.
Mhm.
And there's more depression. There are higher rates of suicide. There's more physical illness just because, you know, your body, you're letting go
Yeah.
and giving up. And so, what better way than to do things with Aware Pajamas for Seniors? You know, there's so many opportunities to give back.
There are ways to help in the community, and I find every way I can, you know. But Aware, we focus on Alzheimer's disease, but you guys, you take care of them.
We do.
We do. And
We
we love
do.
it. It's very gratifying. It really is.
It
Joe and I
is.
do.
And
Yeah.
it's a village. It takes a village. You know, we work closely with every area of healthcare is important, from the hospital stay, the discharge, are the medicines right?
The rehab.
Is the family understanding how
Yeah.
to deal with mom who asks the same question 50 times a day.
Yeah.
You know, so we just all need to come together and work together. And
Right.
our senior population continues to grow. We're living longer. So what better way to support a company like Aware and helping our seniors in
Mhm,
this particular way?
Thank you.
And
for
we
all you
appreciate
do.
everything
Yeah.
that everybody does. Seriously.
It takes a
But
village. It truly does. And in this community, when we pull together and we work hand in hand, it works. It's
Mhm.
nice.
So
Right.
again, the website, how do we get information on Aware, on giving, on Teepish Snow, on the poinsettia? How can we get that information?
It's www.awaredallas.org. And that's one very important focus I have had this year, and that is to get this website to be the center. Now, we still do not have member links on the website for security reasons,
Mhm.
okay? But we have all the information that we can possibly put up there, and we welcome any help we can get
Sure.
in terms
Download
of
the-
resources, and that's where your membership comes in, because the more voices we have and the more human
Get involved.
contribution we have involved with the group, the better it is for the community.
And to download the event calendar and get involved.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and I look forward. I want to be a member, and
Yeah.
I'm excited. I want to volunteer. I want to help. I'm going to buy poinsettias, and I'm going to attend
You
the
can do
Teepish Snow event.
And I'll
every
tell
single
you,
one
Jo-
of those.
Joining
www.awaredallas.org.
is very easy. I had lunch
Piece
with
of cake.
Kirsty last week, went back to the office, and it took 3 minutes. It's simple.
Right.
So
Right. We have several ways to become a member.
Yeah.
And but you can do it for as little as $60. Okay, which again will not break the bank.
Nope.
And the $60 on a normal year includes the 4 membership luncheons. Okay.
Oh.
It includes that. We haven't been able to have them. I'm hopeful that we can have the one in February. We've had to do them as Zooms from May to September, and then we just had one in the beginning of November. We have marvelous speakers. I mean, the one advantage of Zoom is both of our speakers have been from Massachusetts. You know, so we've been able to bring in out of town
outside
talent.
talent.
Yeah.
that's
I mean,
great.
that's been the high spot. And one of them, the second one, Dr. Fahia, I need to post his link on the website. I haven't quite gotten there yet. But Dr. Barry Casino is going to speak to us in February. And then we're going to go to the Arboretum in May and
Wow.
listen to the CEO. You know, it's all
That's
very
awesome.
Mary Brenniger. So
Right.
because this is the first year we funded their program, and I'm very excited about that.
It's great to know about the Arboretum. I didn't know about that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Barbara, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And thank you for doing what you do and your involvement in the senior community in Dallas. You make a difference. Everything you touch turns to gold. So
Well,
I know this
I
will
have good partners here.
these will be
Appreciate
great
you.
events. Thank you again, and we wish
You're
you the
welcome.
best of luck.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.